Welcome back to round 2. We have won the die roll, so we will be playing first again. This time we want to really focus on not playing for Celestial Flare, but instead playing for Despoiler of Souls. So we're gonna play and see what we draw. Alright, so we do have Swamp. We can't play as if we're going for Despoiler of Souls. We don't have 2 swamps. It's fine to know. We have a Hixus and a Throwing Knife. We have 5 land, so essentially anything we draw in this hand, as long as it's not more plains, is going to be good. And we only want to draw 1 more swamp. We don't want to draw any more plains, and we only want to draw 1 more swamp. Then the rest of the game we want to draw spells. We'll keep this. It's playable. It's risky, but it's playable. And the chances of getting a worse hand outweigh the chances of getting a better hand. Our opponent has mulliganed down once already, so we're in a better position than if we had started otherwise. I am going to play the swamp first though, just because it feels like a better choice. Don't you think, Tim?
Yeah. I mean, you put it out there. If you do draw a swamp, you've got so many planes already. You're gonna play into whatever 2 plane drops you need.
Looks like my opponent's playing elves. He's got an Gnarled Root Trapper, which is good, but it's not really something that I'm super afraid of, especially when I get to do things like Topaz Freeblade on turn 2. Ripping a Topaz Freeblade off the top of my library, slamming that down when it's staring at a 1/1 elf. Pretty happy. Especially a 1/1 elf that my opponent is most often going to use to cast a creature with. Now I am going to end up throwing the knife this turn because I need to make a hole for my Freeblade. But it is going to be very nice for me. Oh, wait. Can't do that. That's unfortunate. So we'll pass the turn. I forgot that Throwing Knife costs 2 to equip. You can't do it on turn 3. So it's better to have a 3-drop on turn 3 than a Throwing Knife. Alright, well, we're going to play Shambling Ghoul, because we're not attacking this turn. We will put the Throwing Knife on the Freeblade right now, but we're not attacking this turn, so we're okay. We don't want to get blown out by our opponent having a pump spell and being able to block our Topaz Freeblade and get past the Throwing Knife. So that Farika's Disciple is going to be a pretty big deal, but it's not going to be the end of the world, necessarily. With my opponent playing black, I do have to be concerned about Hixus getting killed, though.
True.
So I have to minimize my risk. I do need another swamp still to play Coccoloped, but at this point I'm still content to sit here and wait. I don't see any reason to block that at this point. Okay. So my question is, should I Reave Souls his Farika's Mender or Disciple, or should I hit the Yeva's Force Mage?
Well, you're dealing with a renowned Death Touch.
I think the correct choice is to attack, throw the knife at the Yeva Force Mage, try and draw out the pump spell, so that I can kill the Farika's Disciple.
That works.
Since the Farika's Disciple is the most difficult card for me to deal with presently. Okay, so I can trade my Topan Freeblade for the Dark Dabbling. I can trade my Throwing Knife for the Dark Dabbling. I think I'll trade the Throwing Knife. It forces my opponent to block, lose a creature, or give me a 3/3 Vigilant. So my opponent wants to give up his creature, or his pump spell. I will trade a Topan Freeblade for a pump spell. Oh, well, that's fine by me. Dark Dabbling can be what you draw next turn, right? Yeah, you can draw Dark Dabbling next turn. I'm good with that. We will Reave this soul. And end the turn. That was a really complex line of thought, ladies and gentlemen. So we know that one of those two cards in my opponent's hand is Reclaim. And we know that the other one is not. It could be a land or it could be a spell. It's not a creature since he's not playing it. So let's go ahead and attack with the Ghoul. Get that Dark Dabbling out of his hand. It was the Reclaimed Dark Dabbling, not Reclaim. That's what I mean.
Mm-hmm.
And since we knew that that was Dark Dabbling in his hand, Enshrouding Mist was the card that we wanted to not play. So my opponent just drew a land. Dark Dabbling is not in his hand. He's got two other cards. One is the Mantle of Webs, which is pretty good. Not really hurting me in a whole big way, but it is going to hold back my creatures for now. Not any longer. So I'm going to attack my opponent with both creatures and see if he's willing to run himself into a Celestial Flare. He is 100% willing to run himself into Celestial Flare. I don't understand how my opponent didn't play around this.
Oh.
He does have a response. Or... okay. I'm good with that. I get to 2 for 1 my opponent. My opponent is playing 2 reclaims, which does give him
possibly more
recurrence. Yeah, possibly more. It does give him recurrence, but I know what his next draw is, and I'm able to plan for it within Shrouding Mist. So I am in the driver's seat right now. My opponent's taking damage. My opponent's drawing cards that he's already played, which allows me to plan my turns a little bit better. Being able to protect either creature, in this case it's probably going to be the Topan Freeblade, with Enshrouding Mist, and being able to do it with a Cothaloped on the battlefield. I am going to play it pre-combat because I can do
get that
all of this, and this will allow me to draw a card when he blocks. This is just going to make my opponent's life much more difficult in total, because this means that I'm getting 2 for 1 again on him. Every time he's played Reclaim, I've essentially gotten 2 for 1 because he hasn't been able to advance his board state, and he spent hand resources on just essentially having that same card already.
Cothaloped is any creature or creatures your opponent controls?
Creatures my opponent controls.
That's good.
But Enshrouding Mist prevents all the damage that would be dealt to Topan Freeblade this turn. So not only do I kill his creature, I keep my creature, and I draw a card. It happened to be a land this turn, but okay, my opponent says that's enough. I've got 2 turns. So we'll see you in game 2. Well, I guess I should begin sideboarding. Alright, so I know my opponent has the 1/3 Reach enchantment.
You win the match, you quit the game.
Oh, my opponent has left
know that you have
the entire draft. I'm not entirely sure why, but he has left the entire draft, and we'll go on into round 3 for the whole kit and caboodle. Thank you all for watching. If you enjoyed the video, please subscribe to the channel, and as always, this is Robert for Draft for the Win.